I treat every human being on the planet the same. I knew there was black for a long time, and grandmother was an American citizen because she was born in the Canal Zone of Panama. My great-grandmother looked black in photos. So I knew about the black and Spanish Central America blood. I knew my grandmother's relatives in Portugal and Spain. I knew there was German all over the place and Northern Europe. On my mom's side, and I got back to 1808, and all my mother's ancestors lived on the Delaware River, either in Philadelphia or Camden, NJ. Now my grandmother said that I had a lot of Irish. My grandfather was a MacDonald. That was my father's name until he changed it at 21. And changed it to my grandfather's Brooker name, who raised and loved him. He loved me even though he died when I was a year old. He made me a photo album in that year full of photos of me and him. He wrote a note in the album about how he loved me, and he always wanted me to remember that. He had a bad heart. I ended up having my grandmother divorce papers from Mr. MacDonald, and my father wasn't mentioned. And I knew that my grandmother wasn't willing to file for divorce. She put off for 10 years until my grandfather Brooker came along and wanted to marry her. She didn't ask for child support. It turned out that Mr. MacDonald's sister spent her winter in New Smyrna Beach, and I took my kids to see her. She told me that every one of his 12 children by 3 different women, the last one at 74, all had bright red hair. No MacDonalds show up in my DNA. My great-grandmother on my mother's side said her mother was Native American Indian. I am a Native Indian from Central America. No Native American in mine or my aunt's DNA. She would not claim her mother. The first time I knew my great-great-grandmother's name was in January. Her name was Emma Henderson. She wasn't Native, my nanny, who was born in 1888 and died in 1988. All she said about her mother was that she was a Indian, and she kicked my great-grandmother and her baby sister out her house and told her to pull this wagon with her in it to her father's and never come back. And she never saw her again. She got to hold my youngest child, who was born in 1987, a number of times, and held the other kids who were 10, 9, and 8 when she died, and in 1884 I moved out of the Florida Keys but came back every 3 weeks. My grandmother made me promise to bring the kids every 3 weeks. I tried very hard to break a promise to grandmother Lily. She raised me. So the older kids, and especially me, had memories of their great-great-grandmother. Because when grandparents Lily lived in New Jersey, my great-grandmother Lily lived 6 months out of the year with them and me. Most of my life she taught crochet. And 6 months with her daughter, my Aunt Ellen, my grandfather's sister. What I was surprised about was I was 9% Jewish, so my biological grandfather on my father's side had to be half Jewish. My father was born in 1929. My grandmother's husband moved to Alaska. She was partying at Speakeasy, she told me she was. She was a 10. She was extremely beautiful woman. I am not upset about any of my DNA history. I am proud of the people who came before me. They weren't perfect, they were just people.